Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian... I pride myself on not getting to know other people, so do not put that on me.
Alec.
So the bananas, up until like the 60s, were an entirely different species of banana.
And Chad. It hit me like a wrecking ball.
Review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us.
So,
yeah, feel free to go and start.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's.
That's right, Valentine's episode with one of our first loves.
I gotta get this out of the way real quick. Poland.
Yes.
I don't know if it's giving it away for people coming in to our location.
Nice, I got some B-roll of it.
But they have beer history on the wall, and it says, what country consumes the most beer per capita? And
there you go.
I guess Poland. And
that would be beer trivia at Iron Horse Brewery.
Iron Spring, where we are located today.
Got an invite to come out, check out the brewery, do a brewery tour, and that's a new thing you guys are starting, right? Doing brewery tours?
Yeah, we're starting up brewery tours again. We're actually going to have one next week on Saturday, February 17th. If anybody's interested.
You might feel like you're yelling into it, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
Or how about I turn
So it's
the
a whole
microphone power
process,
on?
right, that you guys are doing for
There
the
you go.
tour. So it's like a chunk of time, ticketed, like...
You sign up, and you purchase a ticket, you get a tour, a glass, and then a pint of beer at the end. And
So much different from 10 years ago where everybody did the brewery tour, but it was like you just kind of come in and do like the 15-minute walk around. And
yeah, this one will be a little longer.
Yeah.
Maybe with a brewer.
And we'll have like grain and hops so you can see those and taste them and things like
Oh,
that.
cool.
And then I think you get a pint glass.
Yeah,
right?
you get a pint glass to drink, but also we have a specialty glass that I think Ricky Wells, who used to be here, designed, and it's got this little funny, I did a tour at Iron Horse Brewery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, or a little bit of our branded snark.
Before we go any further, if you guys don't mind introducing yourself and your role at Iron Horse.
Yeah, I'm Jake Fleming. I'm the head brewer and head of operations here. So I basically deal with everything that is production.
And how long have you been here, Jake?
Ooh.
A long time.
I've been here 14 years now. So I started as a keg washer when I was 20 years old at the old facility, the little business unit that we had, and learned the tricks of the trade from there. Tyson Reed, the old head brewer, he pretty much taught me everything about brewing, and Ricky Wells, who is a master cicerone. Good for Ricky. She's still awesome. Love her. She taught me all about beer styles and things like that. So I had two really good people teach me a lot about the brewing industry. And Tyson was a UC Davis master brewers.
Oh, wow.
So he knew his stuff too. They taught me everything I know. So shout out to them.
That's cool. I didn't know that about Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm Christina Miller. I'm one of the newest employees at Iron Horse. I do community engagement, events, marketing. I came from the farming world. I was a farmer for about 12 years, worked at PCC. So I've always worked in the food world, not the beer world, but I love marketing beer, and I love putting on our big events and our small events and just figuring out how we build our community here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to the beer that you poured for us, I thought you were going to say it.
What?
Why cousins?
Oh,
yeah, my cousin. There you go. Because we're a family. That's kind of, we want to create that environment that's kind of what draws a lot of people into the brewing industry, is that you are family at the place, because it's a small crew. It's not a lot of people, and you just kind of, you get to know each other really well. Yeah. And then when you drink beer with people, you get to know them a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have extended family, because you have a lot of people that come through and cycle to other things.
Yes.
But your general running capacity, what's the whole crew size?
Probably between 20 to 24 right now.
I think it's
Yeah. Depending
29
all together,
employees.
yeah.
There you
But
go.
for
That's
distribution over 5 states, running a
yeah,
brewery here in Ellensburg,
29 people.
yeah,
that's impressive.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Because that's regional sales, marketing team, and then the servers and production and admin and all the different aspects. Yeah, but the nice thing that I like, which appealed to me coming from farming, is that we all do a little bit of everything. We jump in and help out where we can, and the beer brewers and production help me with events, and we all try to make sure that everything is running smoothly. It's not like, oh, I just sit in an office all day. I can jump in and do other things, which is really nice about the brewery world.
Yeah.
And everyone has an idea of, the left hand usually doesn't know what the right hand's doing, but at a place like this, you have that flat hierarchy, I think.
Holacracy, yeah.
Yeah, if
We're
I
a
read all that
Yeah.
right.
company.
So, yeah, if somebody, we have the running joke at my office, well, if I get hit by a bus, you guys don't know how to do X, Y, Z. Or if you get hit by a bus, I can't do ABC. It kind of, everybody has an understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
Everyone's pulling in the same direction. And yes, if somebody gets hit by a bus, we're going to miss you, but we're going to keep moving forward.
Exactly.
And we're going to find another cousin, but, not to go that macabre, but I like that everybody knows that there's no, if everybody knows what everybody's doing, there's not like, oh, I'm being left out.
Yeah, lots
And
of
that-
transparency.
We write a lot of standard works.
Yeah.
So for that exact instance, you get hit by a bus or you quit or whatever, you now have a whole SOP on how that
Yeah.
person does their
Right.
job, and you interact with them every day, so you understand it.
Yeah, and that probably helps with the we were doing the tour earlier, with that consistency. Like, you guys have to go through so much tasty Irish death, but it has to be the same tasty Irish death every time you crack that can. And having that SOP list, everything we got to do, everybody knows how to do it, and everybody knows, don't touch that button.
Yeah. Right.
We heard about that one.
Please do not touch this button. You're going to screw everything up. But
Yeah.
I kind of like that the way you guys laid everything out as a company. My company's 3 people. So it's very easy to do, but being able to do that with 30 people is very impressive.
It's huge. We use Slack, we use Glassfrog, all these different formats that really help us constantly be showing the work we're doing. Asana is another one that we're using, where we put in projects where anybody can go in and see exactly how you're doing a project and comment on it or see your updates on it. But I think the huge thing for me, because I've been a business owner for a long time, is the transparency about the financials to employees, so that they can really see, like, okay, this decision was made and this is financially how that affects all of us in the long run, which I think gives people a lot of ownership to their work, to see really the ripple effect of everybody's choices. And it really gives you a chance to dig in and be like, why are we going to keep doing things the way we've been doing it, or are we going to rethink that kind of thing? Yeah.
I want to come back to that because it makes me think of the blogs. But Alex has smelled it. Jake's been drinking it.
Yeah.
Tell us what we got. What did you pour for us?
Yes. So this is the newest beer that's coming out. It is a Imperial IPA, and I kind of want to do like a mode to a West Coast IPA, but less bitter. And we used Nectaron hops. I'm gonna butcher this. Waidi, cryo fresh frozen hops, and a little bit of Simcoe to just kind of give it some body. And then it is a 9.7% IPA.
Okay.
So just a heads up on that one. It's
delicious.
a little
Yeah.
hot.
Thank you for the small pour.
It's a part of our Release the Beast series, and it's a collab with Yakima Chief Hops.
Okay, have you previewed this one, or is this?
This brand.
So because the Hellas Lager
Yep.
has been the release. Before that was the
Citra.
That was the first
Yeah.
one I think we
did.
had.
In the
Yep.
purple can.
And then I had the Hellas Lager on my own.
So this is our third
Yep.
Release
Okay.
the Beast.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is just kind of a series we get to kind of play around with, which is fun because we want to be able to try different things that we're not necessarily. This isn't part of the Death series or anything like that. This is a way for us to play around with styles that we generally don't mass produce.
Yeah.
And get it out to a larger audience
Yes,
to get that feedback.
Because that's the difference. Because you guys also run the pilot series here in the tap room, but those are not predominantly getting pushed
Anymore.
Where these will have placements in more stores. Yeah.
So you can actually buy them a 6-pack in the store with these.
The smell smells like just like the bag of hops we stuck our nose in like an hour and a half ago. So like the aroma is perfect there. You almost can smell that there's going to be a little bit of like something coming, like a little boozy or heaviness to it, but it's not like, it's different from like an IPA or like a stout or that type where you kind of like smell like a bourbon barrel where you're like, okay, I know what we're getting into here.
Yeah.
And the taste is, they think it's like hops, but with the edge taken off of it
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's rounder
Yeah,
flavor.
It's a West Coast, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't. There's
I wanted
not
to
like
make a juicy West Coast.
Oh man.
Nailed it.
Without it being kind of that stereotypical what juicy is today. Like this pours, like if I was pouring this out of a bomber in the old days, I totally, this is totally an IPA. Nowadays you don't know. It's like, oh, this thing's bright yellow. Is this but this is, we talked about it last week with the IPA we did, but this is nostalgia. Like this harkens back to the old days pouring an IPA out of a bomber.
Yeah.
But it's not blowing my teeth off with that continual hops.
But it's got enough that, because we've talked about the West Coast, Northwest being the SEC of beers. Like, so if you're claiming a West Coast IPA or a Northwest IPA, you got to bring something to the table. And this is, like I said, taking a little bit of edge off of the hops, but still enough there that, this is a valid West Coast.
But giving the bite back with the booze.
Like if you, that I will feel on the drive home, so I will nap on the way home as well as here.
Like if you told me that was 7, I believe you all day. But
to me,
it's even better. It's just that smooth.
It's also got the like more quintessential, like for an imperial, that it is like a more malty body. That there is kind of like, it's not a thickness, but like there's a hardiness to the body feel of it that you're not just getting like that 6% crushable IPA, but there is that part adds a nice backing to it, and I wonder if that has to do with taking that bite off of it, is relying on the malt side instead of.
Yeah, I mean, I think total it's close to like 2,000 pounds of malt that are used in this for a 30 barrel batch. So yeah, it's up there. And then we use this really cool yeast. It's called Mangostini. I'm probably butchering that name too, but it's from Imperial. It's a Imperialist strain is what they call it, and it's supposed to impart a lot of those fruity flavors like grapefruit, stone fruit, lychee, things like that.
I can totally taste the lychee, like
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more going on the fruity notes.
Yeah, and I'm getting it. I've finished my pint already. You guys were talking.
I got more if you want more.
I got to run the board. But what I like on an IPA, especially a heavy one, as you're sitting after you've had your sip, it continues to develop on the back of your tongue.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting all the juicy notes, the lychee, that grapefruit. I love that experience. Like sometimes you drink a beer, you take the swig and it's done. But I love when you get the swig up front, but then it continues to develop like sitting and having a whiskey or something, letting it breathe.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what's the anticipated release?
We're packaging on Tuesday
Okay.
next week. So this came straight from the Bright Tank.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So fresh beer.
Brand
Super
new.
fresh.
And so it should be out in the market in the next 14 to 16 days.
Okay.
Well, and that's the cool thing with you guys as far as your distribution model is you've got Irish Death everywhere I shop, right?
Yeah.
We talked earlier about it being at Costco even.
Yeah.
Like, it's everywhere.
but usually those seasonals will rotate through. I mean, even down to convenience store.
Yeah. Like High Five Half, you probably don't
Yeah.
see year round. Yeah.
Not as much anymore.
Yeah.
We've had it, but they tend to have that shelf space for Irish Dad or Iron Horse.
Yeah.
And it rotates through. So it'd be exciting to see this roll out.
My local shop, you guys now have a section.
Nice.
Yeah, that's-
So it's Irish Death is right at eye level, but then High Five Half, Midlight, and then a couple other ones, and I'm sure they're going to keep doing it because they've had a little niche for the Release the Beast, and it looks, and fingers crossed they move it so it's just an Iron Horse section now.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
So you guys are distributed over 5 different states?
Yes. Yeah. Washington, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Alaska.
Okay. But featured, like he said, when he means shop, he's literally talking like a grocery store. Like featured fairly prominently in, so good distribution and connections with your distributor to get you that. Is that just the history of Iron Horse? Like,
Well,
is that?
There's different levels of grocery stores.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're in a level A.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
right? Yeah.
I did not know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Do you want
that?
to talk about that?
Go for it.
I mean, I don't know that much about it, but
Give
like,
his thing is Juice.
Yeah.
Zhoosh.
I think cheers. We can do.
It's alright, no worries.
So there's
We
different.
make lots of
More
noise.
Juice.
You can talk over him, it's okay.
There's just different levels, and so some of the smaller breweries are at level B grocery stores, so just like smaller, where so you'll see us like at a lot of the Kroger's, PCC, Whole Foods, the ones that have a larger footprint.
Okay.
So it's just that helps with the distribution because have more brick and mortar places that exist within our level of grocery stores. So, yeah. I was really excited when I still see it at PCC because I worked there for a long time, and they're really huge supporters of local. But even the big Krogers are supporting it too. So
When we've talked about it a lot on our podcast, but like the expanse of the craft beer grocery selection, I think obviously COVID changed a lot of that as people were changing their buying habits. But even before that, you saw this expanse of that, and I think that you guys are one that fits into what we see for that local level of you're local to us. I mean, it's a 2-hour-ish drive between us and you guys, but so we consider you local, that you're in our state and fairly easy to get to, but your access has expanded and given kind of a really good perspective that as the beer, as brewery amounts have grown, that reaching almost 10,000 breweries, you guys have been able to find that spot where you are still readily available in a pretty wide footprint for for what you said, a brewery in a town of 19,000 people. Like, that's pretty impressive. Like, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to hit and to do it. I think it speaks to the longevity of you guys. I mean, it's creeping up on 20 years as a brewery.
Yes.
Yeah.
2007 was when Greg and Gary bought it.
Yeah.
So
Getting there.
we're getting there.
Yeah. It also, to have a brand, a singular brand, we talk about the variations of it. I don't think we've actually reviewed Irish Death on the podcast, but to have that brand that also helps to carry things. That brand being the beer and the brand being the branding you guys have. Like we spoke to earlier, that it's recognizable that's an Iron Horse beer.
yeah. And that's something we talk about a lot. It was one thing that drew me to the job because I knew that the branding and the marketing were going to be really fun. It wasn't going to be just like, a lot of standardized stuff that we could. It has, within the community, there's enough interest in trying new things, even if you're keeping in with that Iron Horse voice. People are open to okay, let's do an event with ponies. Yes, that sounds great. You want to do an event with rattlesnakes and hawks? Yes, let's do it. And people are open. The other great thing is when we're doing the reels and doing the social media, people within the brewery are really excited to be a part of that too, which is really exciting too, because making social media as a single person is not fun. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I gave up and gave it to Chad.
Yeah, no, it's not fun at all.
You just, and if they let you do it, you just go have some intoxicants and you just sit at the computer and go wild and see what happens.
There you go.
And you guys have zero veto power because you didn't play along.
You didn't want to make it, then you have.
You conceded that, so you guys are getting
Yeah.
photoshopped on some questionable
Yeah.
photos. Going back to, so I went to Central unsuccessfully for 3 years. Before you guys kind of really got your start going, how cool is it to have a college like over yonder do those?
Or is it?
Are those okay? So, but are those thirsty college students? Do they give you good input, or do you find that a beginning beer drinker probably doesn't have the palate to go? We should make a change with this, or
Jake could probably speak a little. I see college students at our events, but they're not a huge part of our regulars. And
Okay.
the college students I meet drink a lot of not beer, the White Claws and the, yeah.
I think for originally, we had a lot of college students come in. We used to have, we still do. We have CW discounts
Yeah.
and things like that. But you just don't traditionally see as many of them coming in anymore.
Yeah.
And then I was working the tap room because I was covering somebody's shift, and then one of them just decided to take a leak in the pot.
yeah, you get that.
That'll happen.
I
Yeah.
get it, I understand, you get a little drunk and things happen, but
Yeah.
I was like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun experience to deal with, but no, honestly, the college students so far, like as we've gone through, I just don't think I don't know if it's they don't like beer. I don't think it's necessarily that, but I think with the pricing on where beer is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they come in and they're like, I'm not going to go in and spend $7 on a pint when I can go spend $14 on a Vitality
Rack, yeah.
half gallon.
I can run down to the Rite Aid and get a 30 bomb for whatever.
Right. So I think that's been a struggle for us, and trying to get them in to experience craft beer because obviously it's delicious.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they're going to be making money and better decisions someday, so they might want to go buy our
Maybe it's
when they're
Fingers
adults.
crossed.
Maybe it's more about getting the alumni
We do,
than
yeah.
getting the college students.
We have worked with a lot of the alumni groups through rugby, basketball, volleyball. They've brought a lot of their groups here for events, and that's been really great because people have really great memories of going to school at CW and Iron Horse being a big part of that experience.
I mean,
Yeah.
only one of us went here, but we all have memories of
Hanging out here,
Ellensburg
yeah.
and Iron
Yeah.
Horse and that type of stuff. I mean, your brother went, so technically,
And your
like,
sister was over here.
Yeah, so like
we have
we all
family
have
who've all
masters.
been
I mean,
here.
My wife got her master's degree here, so like there's
Yeah.
like Central has this kind of thing for all of us that like we drive into town and there is a nostalgia there. There is this fun little kind of thing to it.
Yeah, we did the lap around campus, and it's like,
did.
I slept in this field.
there's a deep history here, and
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun. Like it's a running joke that once you stay in Ellensburg for I think like 5 years, and then you're stuck.
You're just, yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't leave.
Yeah, I moved here from Seattle about 12 years ago, and I'm always like, I'm gonna leave, and then I never leave.
Can't do it.
Can't do
It's
it.
That drive from, I'll call it Seattle, but Seattle Ellensburg, that's probably one of my favorite drives to do.
Yeah.
It's just,
When the weather's not terrible, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like you can do
Pretty
it
easy.
in about two, like mostly following the rules and it's fine.
Mostly falling.
Yeah. My favorite part about summer is we do get a lot of people driving through. There are tourists who have never been here, or they have lived here at some point or gone to school here, and they just love. We started doing this thing called Harvest Host, so people can park their RVs here in
Yes.
production.
There you go.
I remember
Yep.
hearing about this.
Yep.
but
Yeah,
I
was gonna
people
bring that
love
up.
it.
I don't even know if I was the one that found it or if like my other friends like started talking about that and doing it. How often do you get people coming through and doing that?
Quite a bit during, May through October, which are the months that are bearable in Ellensburg for. So that's the high point. But we've had people outside of that, so we can fit 2 or 3 RVs within production, comfortably, so people aren't on top of each other, and after the tap room closed, they get locked into production and they get
So
to...
they're parked
Not,
inside?
yeah, they're in the parking lot.
Oh, in the
Okay.
fast area.
Okay.
Okay.
They can't get into the actual building, but they are hanging out in our production facility, so they can hang out and just chill at the brewery. That's the whole
See,
thing.
Jake's doing the right thing. I see what you're doing there. Jake.
I did not know this.
Oh,
we
you
should
didn't know about this?
we should have brought the trailer.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
we
could.
would
You know
be here
what?
all
We
day.
could have done the
and
whole thing. You're
yes,
right.
we stuck with us for a lot
Actually,
longer.
That might have been smart. So, for people who don't know, it's called what again?
Harvest Host.
Harvest Host. And so there are different businesses around the country that basically make their space available instead of going to like a KOA.
Yeah.
You can utilize that company's space as your camping area.
And it's usually farms, breweries, wineries, distilleries, and it works like Airbnb. You set up as a person, so people that stay here rate us, but we can also rate them so that everybody that's come has been so chill, and they don't pay. They just agree that they'll spend $20 in the tap room.
Done and
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, so it's been really fun during the summer when we're having a summer music concert series. They come and they get to park their RV, come, have food and beer, and then hang out for the concert, and then, go sleep in their RV. So people have really loved it.
I think I found my new retirement plan. Like, I'm just bouncing
go from
around
brewery
between,
to brewery. Yeah.
You're not gonna hop on a cruise ship. You're just gonna RV hop between breweries.
Yeah, just go around and live at different. Well, and that would be the thing is alternating wineries and breweries.
Yeah.
So that I can
So
balance out the gluten free.
Yep, and your wife can be happy.
Yes. See, this is a
So
plan
what
here.
is this beer that you just poured for us?
Oh, so this is
It's like
the,
she's done this before.
this is the Dark Divide. This is the pilot batch that we did with Crucible out
Okay.
of Everett, right? Yeah.
Yes, Everett.
They used to have two locations. I think Everett's their main one.
Yes.
I think they closed. Okay, Woodinville one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Woodinville one they had to close down.
That's the one I've been to.
Couldn't sustain it. So
It's big spaces.
yeah, big spaces, big rent. So we did this at their facility, and then we're going to do another one here at our facility towards the end of March.
Different beer.
Different beer.
Okay.
Still gonna be called Dark Divide, but I think this time we're gonna go for like a hazy IPA with really high like piney notes, things like that.
Yeah.
Is kind of what we're shooting for, and they're really good at hazy IPAs.
Okay.
Like Crucible, they have some great beers, great hazy IPAs, but this one we kind of wanted to do a little bit of a mode to. Obviously, we brew a lot of dark beers here, so we were like, well, let's make a black IPA, and we'll use Citra and Nelson hops, and try and kind of create this almost like orange chocolate IPA kind of thing.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah. I'd never had a black IPA before I tried this.
Oh, this is one of my favorite
This is
styles.
Brian's go-to.
I feel like it hit a peak a few years ago and then tapered off. I think living where we live, you predominantly can get them more than others. I think the most well-known nationally is Stone did one for quite a while. But this, to me, it combining the IPA and like a stout to me is like a great combination. I'm still very anti-black IPA as the name.
What do you think it should be called?
Well,
It's CDA, right?
yes, a Cascadian Dark Ale.
Okay.
And to me, because it represents our area,
Yeah.
the idea that it's hoppy but it's dark, and doing that, the fact that you're calling it a black India Pale Ale seems like you're immediately like.
I have a feeling a marketing person came up with the
Yes.
black IPA. They're like, that's more succinct. It sounds really
Correct.
good versus Cascadian.
Yes.
Well,
So
and it's
Cascadian
black.
Dark Ale actually came after the Black IPA.
Oh.
The Black IPA was the first thing, and then Cascadian.
Yes.
They created a category basically.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
Yeah.
And so then they decided, like, well, it's not technically that. It's more of a Cascadian Dark Ale. Because predominantly when, like, I remember we made one, like, a long time ago.
Oh, really?
2013?
Okay.
No, even before that. 2000, must have been like 2010.
Wow.
Okay.
I remember the label. It was a green label with a guy with a black eye.
Of course.
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah, And that was our black IPA. And the struggle with black IPAs is you put them out on the market, and they just don't really go well.
Yeah.
They'll do really well in your tap room because people want to try them and they think they're cool. Outside of that, people just see it on a shelf and they're like, nah,
Don't grab
never
it.
mind.
Yeah. I mean, the flavor's like nothing I've ever tasted before. I mean,
So
it's
you've
just
never had one before?
No, and I'm
Okay.
like, this is so unusual.
Because
Yeah.
visually, you look at it and you
Yeah.
go, well, I don't really want a stout.
No.
It's
But
not
doesn't
really
taste
my
any-
thing, but
yeah.
it's not what it is at all.
And it mixes with that that malty, you can smell the hoppiness.
Yeah.
It mixes with that maltiness, and you're like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like a mind bender that you're trying to think. Like when
Yeah.
the first time I had a white stout,
Yeah.
and you're just trying to kind of put two and two together. This is a really good version. I think it's not. A lot of times when you get some of the block IPAs, it often is just like, oh, did you have a bad stout and you just and then you just added
You
more hops
overhopped
to
it.
to do it. This is a better blend of it. That it is, I think, a slight bitterness, but mostly you're getting kind of that fruity aroma of hops, and doing that with then just that kind of darker malty feel underneath it. So yeah. This is the one when you said earlier, what do you want? I almost picked this one, but I was trying to avoid an entire pint of IPA, but to see a black IPA to me, that's
What was the
go-to.
next beer you want them to try?
I
Oh,
wanna
we're
try
running into it.
Crows Have Eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is your recent collaboration.
With Acorn. Yeah.
Okay, real quick
Yeah,
before
you
you
don't
get
have
to
to.
that.
I'm just gonna start pouring while you talk.
So you said that Crucible's really good at hazy. We had this discussion the other day.
Okay,
We feel
we may
like,
have.
because it goes back to also the blog posts, you guys are, at least
Oh,
for us,
you're
notorious
gonna-
of all of this history of writing about stuff and it goes back to even, Christina was talking about the transparency of finances and things. I feel like your blog posts have been very much, hey, here's what's going on with our business. Here's fun stuff behind the scenes and what's going on, like the changing of the buildings and all that stuff. We feel like there was a blog post sometime that said that Iron Horse will never make it hazy. We feel like we saw that. I started to look
Everyone's
through.
laughing. That's a good sign.
I started to look through 42 pages of blog posts to see if I could find that one,
I'm sure you're right.
but I could not find it.
You are definitely right.
Nice.
No, we did. We talked about how much we hated hazies when the New England IPA
Yeah.
kind of started hit the market. We're like, well, it's just people that didn't clear their beer properly,
Right.
And
Yeah.
and then we heard when it was brand new, there was a lot of stuff about how the yeast actually picks up hot particles and things like that and creates this, and it's that's not scientific.
Gibberish, yeah.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
Completely wrong. But yes, we did write a blog about that, I'm sure.
We say a lot of things that we do.
Yes, and it's one of those things where it's you start looking at the actual style of the beer and start to understand it and kind of try and make figure out why people like it so much. And you realize, okay, it's low IBU with a lot of hop aroma and a lot of flavor, hop flavor behind it. And so you're like, okay, now you kind of understand it. Before, when it first comes out, you kind of see this thing and you're like, that just looks like a milkshake. They just didn't clear their beer out. It just did nothing. They were like, oh, okay, well, brew, ferment, crash, but not really crash it, and then just keg it. And so once you kind of start to understand more about it, I think that's one of the great things about the brewing industry is that we're constantly pushing boundaries on things that should be beer or traditionally you wouldn't find a hazy IPA in Germany. But,
Yeah.
they'd be like, that's wrong.
Listen,
You
don't do
did
that.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Double Rainbow is the perfect example of that. You guys, it was way before I was here, but it felt like it pushed the boundaries of all those different.
And we've changed that recipe so many times.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Irish Death. It is a dark ale. It is not a stout. It is not a porter. It is
It's
not.
not-
It
yeah.
doesn't fit those things.
It doesn't fit anything.
So I get that. So then the question is, when are we gonna see an Iron Horse smoothie beer?
There you go.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, we said we'd never brew a pumpkin beer, and
Yeah,
we did it.
we
So-
did it, and we may be thinking about it in the future, but it turned out really good.
You know, those, here the college kids really like those smoothie beers. So maybe.
That'll draw them in.
I love whiskey milkshakes. I've never had a
You not had
smoothie
one?
beer.
Oh, God.
Like,
we
is
end
it
up-
cans like a smoothie or?
Yeah, no. So,
Okay.
I'm kicking myself.
not
because
bringing
I
one?
had a couple of Dreckers. in
yeah,
the
so Drecker is one of the most well-known ones. They're out of North Dakota.
Okay.
There's a few other places. I think 540 North does another one, but it is a beer that like on the can says that you need to
It's
roll it to get the stuff mixed back together, basically.
and it's beer in air quotes.
Yes, it is for sure.
It's an alcoholic beverage in a can. That
On there, it literally says like gimmicks, and it's like all the stuff they add in, and so you're getting like a
It pours like a glass of half and
fruity
half. Like,
vanilla.
it's like neon.
Oh, yeah.
Orange.
It is wild. I'll find something to
Not to
show
go
you
too
some
far
pictures
down
of
the
it,
rabbit hole,
but
yeah.
Gotta love not being regulated by the FDA.
yeah, there's.
So
Oh, here's one I had
mostly-
recently from Claim
yeah.
52 out of, like, that's beer. But they literally call it, so it's a puree gosa. So, like, a gosa base that then they're adding a bunch of stuff. I mean, this one smelled so good because of the, like, I forget the
Oh my
all the
God.
different flavors and stuff that were in it, that my gluten-free wife almost just took a drink just because the smell was,
was so good.
that she, but, like, it's,
But super into fruit, like
Mm-hmm.
they're like, you need to roll this because there's actually like we dumped pureed strawberries in the can before we poured it. I had one last year's Valentine's Day post was a beer. They made the beer, it was a smoothie beer, but then they took a little piece of yellow cake into the can,
yeah.
poured the beer on
Oh
top,
my
and
God.
then you're supposed to roll it because the cake is now dissolved in the beer, and it was cake. It was a cake beer sour smoothie, and it was
Was it
And-
good?
I know.
yes, it was beyond good, but it was like we had I had taken my year off beer.
oh right.
The guys call me up, hey, dude.
No.
Whatever. Basically, we restart the podcast after I quit beer for a year.
This was your idea,
Yes, it was. It's about-
so don't
we're getting.
blame it on us.
We're starting the Avengers initiative.
Okay.
But like,
And
my
that's after
experience with
rolling
beer was
Crazy.
IPAs,
Yeah.
ESBs, Pilsners, Lagers, my beloved Keystone Light.
Okay. Keystone Light over here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hell yeah, brother. And then we get, like, you come out of COVID, it was like, oh, okay, it's White Claw season. And then I get these guys doing the podcast again, and I'm ordering these beers. It's like, what's a smoothie beer?
I knew about them. Don't come out like that. But I didn't drink them.
But me and Alec, our tiny little minds were just exploded with beer had kind of gone to this point. Like we thought beer would just stop here, and now beer is being taken to
Whole nother levels.
whole nother levels.
What's the
you
next?
What
Yeah.
do you guys think the next thing is? Like now that you've done a hazy,
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I'm excited for you guys to try the Thai tea Def. It
Yeah.
is really unlike anything I've ever tried.
I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost grabbed the tiramisu death.
Yeah.
Okay, so which
Oh
one
yeah,
do
we haven't talked about
yeah,
what we
the
just
we
one
got
we
another
poured.
glass.
So we poured.
as they like actually need to do some work.
So we did a
And you
Shit's
can make noise as much as
Yeah.
you need to. Do your
We
job.
did a
You're
Schitt's
fine.
Creek themed. It's called The Crows Have Eyes, and it was a collaboration with Acorn Brewery.
Now, as someone who has not watched Schitt's Creek, is there anything I need to know?
What?
I've only seen.
I'm gonna let them attack him, and I will just sit back here and not say
It's the
anything.
best TV show
all I
ever.
see is like the reaction gifs on Twitter.
Yes, and the stupid cheese folding thing.
Yes,
What?
which we did
we
use.
did a reel on
Yeah, we
that.
did
Yeah.
the reel.
Okay, well,
Oh, I remember seeing it. I think I was gonna send it to my wife because her
gonna
and my
fold it in.
sister got really excited about Schitt's
okay,
Creek.
well,
So
Cliff Notes. What do I need to know before nosing into this beer?
Okay, so this beer is a Imperial Black Walnut Stout.
Oh, this is the one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so we did 2 batches of this, 2 half batches, because the amount of grain that we would need with all the chocolate and things like that, it wouldn't have fit in our mash kettle. So we did 2 batches, and then we dry hopped it with crushed black walnuts. So it's going to give it almost like a unique bitterness to it. It is a 10.5% imperial, so it's pretty high. Apparently we like to brew high alcohol things.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I really like the finish on this.
Yeah. And it's a 90-minute boil. We increase the boil to try and get some of those that better foam retention, that creaminess in there. A lot of flaked barley and things like that. And then we aged it on oak staves. And so American oak, 42-inch stabs, 5 of them just got dropped into the fermenter with it.
Okay, you said this earlier, and I was like, I don't know what he means, but I'm just gonna nod my head. But okay, yeah. So like instead of it being like in a barrel,
yes,
you're like adding the oak into that instead of the beer going into.
Yeah, and so it's a way to impart some of that oak flavor into it without having to buy an oak barrel. So you basically what they look like is they're little spirals. They're not like
just more for more surface area.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Really.
And so then you just drop those in there and you let it sit, and it picks up that flavor.
So is that where I'm getting like that vanilla? I'm getting a little vanilla in there.
Well, and the
it's super
bitterness
creamy.
is different too, because it's not like a hoppy bitterness. It's
It's that roasted black walnut.
The black
Yeah.
walnut. Have you ever had black bitters in like a cocktail?
yeah.
Yeah, it really stands out.
And the thickness and the smoothness. If you told me this was like poured nitro,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting.
it does.
Oh,
The
that
texture is
creaminess,
really
that
great on
bit of
this.
it.
Yeah.
It's a-
Softer mouthfeel.
that extra boil, you know, to get up to, and you kind of have to do it to get up to that gravity to be able to boil off some of that water to make sure that you're going to hit that 10.5%. And we could have gone a little higher, but we were like, maybe not.
For the booziness, just by boiling it more, you think?
Yeah. You got to have your starting gravity at, like, for this, it's got to be close to almost like 1092.
Okay.
Wow.
And then you have to ferment it down to close to like 10, 12-ish area.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first batch we did, we hit like 1094, and because we added Belgian candy sugar as well, so that's in this recipe.
Oh, that'll kick it up.
Yeah. I think 50 pounds of it. So close to.
Yeah.
And we didn't quite ferment down as far as we wanted to, so we actually had to we used the darkness from Imperial yeast, and it's designed around high alcohol beers, but it just didn't quite get it down as low as we wanted to, so we actually had to add for the second batch an enzyme, and that it's called TGA mash is what it's called, I think. Basically what it does is it helps convert those sugars down. And the second batch went much lower, so we were like, "Thank God! Now we can blend these two and create this nice meld of like, you're gonna get some sugars, you're gonna get a little bit of residual sweetness, but it's not super sugary. Because if we would have done just the first batch, it came out much sweeter, and then blending in that second batch really helped balance out the sweetness and kind of keep that bitterness to it. So
So this is a one-off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is just available here, and then I'm assuming at Acorn.
At Acorn.
At their location,
Yeah.
so just on tap.
In Edgewood.
Yeah.
On tap and bottles.
yes, and
Yeah.
that's whacked.
Okay, so a limited run with bottle.
You guys are getting 3
Yeah,
of
we'll send
them,
you
so-
some
Perfect.
home.
Awesome.
They're gorgeous.
you. Yeah, no, this is
we have a lot of collabs right now between the Yakima Chief, Acorn, and then 2 different with Crucible. Yeah, we've got 4 different going
Have
on
you
right now.
historically done a lot of collabs?
We haven't historically done a whole lot of collaborations, and we kind of it feels like the craft industry got a little bit away from that, and then obviously COVID happened, and it was really hard to do any collaborations whatsoever.
Yeah.
Doing this stuff over Zoom just does not.
It's not the same feel. It's not the same
Yeah.
feel. You want people to come to your brewery. Like when you're collaborating, you want to go to the brewery, you want to drink some beer with people, hang out, understand them, and then understand their process, see their facility, they see yours, and you kind of create this like cool thing. That, their experience and your experience, because everybody's experience is different. Like that's the crazy part about the brewing industry. Like you can see our facility, And then you go to somebody else's facility and like, that's wild. I would never thought of
Doing
Setting it up
that
like
way,
that,
yeah.
So have you ever had somebody from outside come in and look at your setup and like go, okay, cool, but then like run it like, oh, this is the way the way you have it set up. We're gonna run it completely different. You're going, oh wow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, for me, it's more like it's not necessarily the process itself, like, because you have to set up your process for brewing itself in a way that you can design it in your facility, and that's people come up with some very crazy innovative ways. Like, I've been to some places and I'm like, you've got an auger running upstairs, down, and then around and coming in. I'm like, that is wild. What did you do? Why?
Making the space work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times, yeah.
Make the space work, but the process itself, like what different people do with like dry hops, different fermentation temps, pitching, things like that. Like if you can under pitch and for specific yeast strains, and they're like, oh yeah, have you ever tried under pitching a little bit? It'll give you this like crazy flavor, and you're like,
nope,
never thought of that. That's cool.
Well, and did you guys find this out on purpose, or was this an accident that
yeah.
you went, yeah, no, this worked?
One of my favorite things we did last year, we brought back Eastern Washington Brew Fest, and we did 2 different collaborations. We did all of the Lower County breweries, which was Whipsaw, Ellensburg Brewery, Rock and Reef, and Iron Horse did a collab of a bastardized red, and then all the Upper County of Kittitas County breweries also did one, and then we had a competition to see which collaboration would win at the Brew Fest. Yeah, that was really fun.
When is that?
We called ours Loco Collab, and it's going to happen again on June 8th.
Pencil that into our calendar.
Yeah.
In that vein,
I think we gotta be careful. That's the NASCAR race.
we can swing it.
NASCAR comes to Portland every year, so we drive down.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
We come in here before and load up on beer.
It's the week after, you guys.
There we go.
Perfect.
Road trip.
Perfect.
When's Dirtbag Days 2024?
It's in September. We haven't nailed down a date for that, but we for sure have St. Patty's Day, March 16th.
Yeah.
And
we
that's
have
a great 0.5K.
0.5K, St. Patty's, 0.5K, March 16th, and then we have Brewfest, June 8th. Dirtbag will for sure come back, but we just haven't figured out a date yet. But yeah, those are our 3 big events. The Brewfest one is really fun because we bring all these different breweries together, and I really like meeting people from other breweries. It's a good community building thing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Was there any other beers you wanted them to
say,
try?
Last one I wanted to try
Okay.
is
The big finish.
Ooh, you have it?
Which one would be good?
Does it?
It's just not carbonated.
Yeah. This was on the 5-gallon system, or the 15-gallon system. So like,
It's not carbonated, and is it like just needs to sit still, or is it?
so the problem with the 5-gallon, 15-gallon system.
Oh
is
my God, that smell!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Holy!
So
And
the
this is
problem
a
with
death variant?
Yeah, that's a Thai tea death variant.
What?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Oh my
What?
gosh!
No.
Have you had it before?
Yeah, that's why I put it on. I want you guys to
No, it was super popular the first time we had it on.
Okay, so this is
I'm
not
trying
the
to
first run of it.
second run, and then
Oh, this is the first
No,
round.
that's the first
this
one.
is still the first
End of
run.
the first
Oh,
round.
okay.
Is this a favorite everyone in the tap room? Or
It was, yeah, it was really popular.
you're gonna will it so?
Oh, yeah.
It's so smooth.
It was really
Like-
popular with women. It's
You know what? It's one of those things where
Really
it's just
drinkable.
a dumb guy thing that you just brand it differently, and they'd probably still they'd love it.
Yeah.
You just gotta like.
I'm gonna. If we posted this, the Pina Colada song's in the back. That's what this is.
So there is, because there's a little like I get a little coconut like.
Yep.
A little.
But it's so different than Aloha Death. It's a really
Yes,
different
very
taste
different
than
than
Aloha Death.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the smell is very different.
Yeah.
Like.
Because it's coconut flour that we threw in there.
Oh, okay.
What was in the Aloha Death? Was it not coconut flour?
Yeast flakes?
No, it was not. It was an extract.
Well, extract.
Oh, extract.
Yeah. And which sort of changes the mouthfeel probably a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
Coconut flour kind of adds that smooth, smoothness to it because it's got the proteins in it. The hard part is that the coconut flour settles out, and so then it kind of gets
You have to like emulsify it.
But
Yeah.
I can't emulsify. I've tried it.
Yeah.
Because it's not probably technically.
This
It's not
is-
technically flour as we know flour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not a chemist, and I can't figure out how to
Emulsify
emulsify
it.
proteins
Listen,
into a
and
beer.
this is when I was like,
there's a university down there. Maybe we can get some of them to.
We can get a guy.
this
get
is
a-
when
like
my
a grad
stupid questions. I was
project?
like,
Can we get a,
I was like,
like-
Jake, do you just have a giant like immersion blender
They've
you
got, they've got a big ass chemistry building down the road.
Yeah.
They can figure it out.
use? Somebody has the answer.
But yeah, then so for this one, like we brewed it. I put the coconut flour in the whirlpool, and then I came back later, the next weekend, and I made tea using like cinnamon sticks,
Taste that.
and cardamom.
Oh, there you go.
Vanilla, and more coconut powder or flour, and then also chai tea, and then made this like big pot of soup, and then threw it in there on the little 15-gallon system because we got a little fermenter, and poured that in, and then this was born, and I was like, this was actually really.
I know,
good.
because you were pretty skeptical of it at first.
was
I
a
remember
little
you were like,
nervous. I was a little nervous. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's gonna work out.
Yeah,
and I just remember people just loving it when we had it on tap. They were so excited about it. But our next one that's coming out is the tiramisu. That one you'll see canned really
really?
soon in grocery stores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should pour them.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are okay with
I mean,
more
we
beer,
can hang out. We don't want to like.
I don't know about my patrons here, but I was planning on sitting and chilling.
We-
Maybe
yeah,
have a couple
we're
extra
not
Listen,
beers.
my wife won't
Taking
hear
a
this
nap.
until
Yeah.
after it's published, so I'm fine.
We'll get all the equipment out of the way so we don't scare out the
Yeah,
regulars,
why don't
but yeah.
we? Do we want to?
Yeah, we'll wrap up this.
So we
do our
don't
big
get
finish?
the actual work job.
Yeah, do our big finish
Anything
here.
else you want to plug before we wrap up?
Just the St. Patty's Day tiramisu's coming out soon, and also the Imperial IPA that you guys can try. That's coming
Yeah.
out as well. That's going to be out in the market in 60 days.
Do we want to do a quick fridging real quick? I mean, or is this too much? I know, right?
I think we're good. Which
I mean,
how
to
about-
me,
what's your-
most of them
how-
are seasonal.
What
What's your-
stands
what's- what's-
stands out? What stands out?
what's
to
your
you most
fave?
today?
I'm probably. I'm gonna go Dark Divide.
Thank you.
It's just I'm a homer for the black IPA, so like I'm gonna go with that one. Oh, that is a light colored
yeah,
death.
it's gonna look different when it.
Yeah, I got so tiramisu, right? Coffee cake. I wanted to make it in a certain way.
Okay, change it. It's
Okay.
I haven't even drank it, but I'm tiramisu death.
And I looked at it and you look at the tiramisu and you're like, okay, it's
okay.
kind of that.
Christ on a cracker.
Yeah,
It's kind of like that color.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of shit from.
I actually like the color.
I know.
I
But because
know.
it's not close
because
enough
it,
to
yeah,
the
it
sun,
doesn't
like,
like
it just-
yeah.
It's a death variant, so it's supposed to be
Yeah.
dark. So I was like,
But in
Okay.
your defense, you made the sign slightly lighter, so that should be the clue.
right.
The sign is slightly.
It's still dark.
There was one
It's still
sales
dark.
guy who was like, "I love it. Don't change it." And then everybody else was like, "No,
No.
we can't do it."
But so,
I was about to say.
Sorry.
Yep, go
screw,
Chad.
screw the big finish. What I love about this and
Yeah.
about what you guys do, Irish Death. Everything is about Irish Death. Irish Death. This looks nothing like Irish Death. It tastes delicious, but I know that's based off Irish Death. I can feel.
You taste it.
Screw it. We're here. The umami of Irish Death is in it.
I hate that he uses that word.
Does it? It's not.
Great.
It's not correct.
It's a fantastic word.
If you use it correctly.
But I can feel the threads of Irish Death. Everything that we tasted here, all this delicious, dark, beautiful beer.
Because that's the thing is, even I was thinking that even with the I can't remember if it was
Release
the
the-
Pros
oh,
or
the
one of
Pros
them,
have
but like,
ISI?
but in general,
Yeah.
like
Pros have ISI.
your dark beers are always going to have a bit of this Irish Death because it's the core of what you guys do. Like you talk about it, like, and we got.
Well, and at some point, you can clean those tanks as much as you want, but there's going to be some saturation of Irish death.
yeah.
In spirits, even.
But yeah, there is this spirit of it, and it flows through all of it. And I mean, when you have something that is that good, why not let it go and to do that? So
And how wonderful it is to have something, it's going to sell, it's going to keep us afloat. so we can do all these wonderful other things that we're
Yeah.
able to do. How does that, like, there's not a lot of breweries that we encounter that realistically probably have that.
Yeah, nobody has the flagship as much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're super lucky on that, and that allows us to play around and do things like this Thai iced tea, the tiramisu. Like we can play around with that and know that if it fails, we're still okay.
So
Yeah.
the backstop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna go the Crows Have Eyes as
Is
my
your number
favorite,
one?
Yeah.
and until I tasted the
Tiramisu.
tiramisu.
I know.
And I think I'm switched.
Well, I'll go with the Crows Have Eyes because it's dropping.
Just like get all of them in there.
Dropping 2 weeks after this episode.
Yep.
And I will, in the intermediate, I will do the Cliff Notes Schitt's Creek so my co-hosts don't give me that look again.
You'll
disgust.
fall into
It got me through COVID. It's
That's
so brilliant.
when we caught it too. Yeah.
It's got my girl.
Can't do it.
It's got my girl O'Hara in it. I did it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was good. Cool. Our glasses are very far
Yes.
from being empty
Yeah,
at
we have a
this
lot
point.
of drinking to do.
Hopefully, yours at home are half full as well. And we'll catch you next time.
If you've enjoyed what you just heard, make sure you subscribe to get new episodes when they drop, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you want to see what we're drinking when we're not on the pod, you can follow us on social media at A Beer Review. Feel free to send us any beer suggestions that we can make Chad go buy off at Tavor.